Hello and welcome to Eye of the Storm. This is a ranked game of Trojan Lions Forever between two very good players, BlackDeath playing the Cybran going first land, taking on Cerberus playing UEF. And Eye of the Storm, very difficult map. The builds are really dependent on reclaims. This is one big reclaim. If you're a noob, do not skip that little chunk of mass, and there's of course 4 of those throughout the map. And air, the most important thing on this map is definitely air, but if you neglect either navy or land, you're likely to pay the price, so you gotta at least make them minimal. But if you lose air, you're gonna lose. So we'll see how these two players go at it. Not really sure which faction is better. Seraphim definitely by far the best faction for this map because of the floating arty. But both Cybran and UEF have their weapons, of course the UEF cruiser. Looks like second air for Cerberus. That should be interesting, and of course the Hydra here. It's kind of just far enough that you want to just go with a whole bunch of P-gens, but some people do walk over with the ACU to get the Hydra. 2 engineers to the Hydra for BlackDeath, and hunters going up. Actually, it's a Manti. 2 Manti for BlackDeath going on either side. Mech Marines going down. We might get a chance to see 2 Mech Marines versus a Mantis. Definitely going to depend on micro, but even with a little micro, the Mech Marines should win. But if they don't, the Mantis should. Like here comes the second air factory. You see a total of 7 P-gens, the 8th coming up, and the Hydra is also finished. So 2 air factories for BlackDeath. Definitely big accent on air. And here comes the fight. The Mech Marines just run by. Mantis gets 1 kill. This Mech Marine, if it just follows, it will die. No air involved. Some interceptors now coming out on the other side. The Mech Marines avoid the Mantis. Moving down, but yet another. This one's actually a hunter. 2v1 unfair battle. Mech Marines win, and now this engineer is going to be in danger. We see a response from BlackDeath. He has to get on the water where the hunters can't go. The interceptor has just seen BlackDeath's ACU, and I will now slow this down. You want to put all your factories right away. The factory itself on attack ground. That way all the interceptors coming out are attack ground, or there's a very important kill there on the engineer, an expending engineer. One of the early engineers gets taken out. 5 mass extractors and a lot of mass here that Cerberus is not going to get, but massive interceptor force now from BlackDeath. However, these Mech Marines doing some damage. See 3 engineers here are going to be taking on a single Mech Marine. They should just come in and reclaim. There goes the Raider. So a little more land for Cerberus, a little more air for BlackDeath. The ACU for Cerberus going into the middle. That's that commonly happens. A tank versus Manti, an even fight like that, the tank will win. And now the Navy, started by by Cerberus. This is total air domination now by BlackDeath. Let's see if you can make that count. Bombers coming in already. Excellent bomb. 4 engineers and 1 bomb. Excellent bombing there. Here comes an anti-air. So BlackDeath making his air advantage count immediately. And we got a long stream of hunters going up to the top. He's going to try to prevent that. Definitely saw the ACU is in the middle. BlackDeath now going to get some factories and most likely take over the bottom side. Saw some bombers. Looks like it was I think there was no dead engineers here. Did not notice if that bomber get any kills. But trouble for Cerberus, losing air like that, losing quite a few engineers. Looks like he will lose both top and bottom, and this is very interesting. Hunters an advantage with hunters that they're so quick. And then we got to remember that engineer that was killed here, so absolutely nothing here except a few tanks for Cerberus, but tanks versus hunters. Really all the hunters can do is prevent engineers, but they will lose the battle against tanks. Should be pretty much a massacre, but actually with that many hunters they just ran over those 2 tanks. And very interesting, the ACU for Cerberus going directly at BlackDeath's initial starting position, and a submarine coming out as well. So one big difference is there is a navy for Cerberus, no navy for BlackDeath. But here comes a drop. Whenever you have total air domination, drops are definitely great. So for these 4 mask extractors in the middle for Cerberus are going to be lost. 2 engineers dropped off, and looks like the rest are going to go in a very dangerous spot here. A lot of tanks. This should give Cerberus a chance to take over the top. You can see the ACU for BlackDeath capturing the bottom here. Easy 4 mask extractors for BlackDeath. See what Cerberus decides to do. Not sure if BlackDeath realizes there's an ACU coming into his base, but he's got plenty of engineers here to get some point defenses up if he reacts quickly. We gotta see some taking up to Tech 2. And yet another air fight. And actually here Cerberus able to get a pretty nice air force as Cerberus is about to take air back. And this time Hunters and Manti versus tanks. Looks like numbers. And very quick point defenses. 3-point defenses built very quickly here. Cerberus losing half his health, running back into the water. And now BlackDeath right away pushing up from his very secure bottom position here. Not too much land at all here for Cerberus. Cerberus quickly losing map control here. Lost middle. Of course, now Cerberus is going to come out. This Hydra is a very good target for him. But now air has been taken over by Cerberus. He's got to make that count if he wants to stay in this game of losing mask extractors quickly. You see power storage 1, Tech 2 mask extractor, and this is Tech 2. Tech 2 air for Cerberus, and given that he's got total air domination with interceptors, should be very interesting. Tech 2 air factory for BlackDeath as well, but not nearly enough interceptors. Cerberus playing a very dangerous game here. Could be in a bit of trouble. A lot of build capacity here. He's got to get to the water pretty quick. Although it doesn't look like it's really a focused attack from BlackDeath. And now Tech 2 gunship. It's going to try to correct this problem on the left side for Cerberus. Cerberus pulling back his air force to protect his gunships, but really nothing that BlackDeath can do against these Tech 2 gunships. Quite a few flak here in the middle. That's nice. Now we see Cerberus ACU 22 kills getting into the water. Playing very dangerously here. We might see some torpedo launchers. Tech 2 power now. And Tech 2 flak for BlackDeath. And here come the gunships. We're seeing BlackDeath retreating back to base. One thing about both the UEF and Cybran, very vulnerable against gunships on water. Since there is no Tech 2 flak that can float for either faction. And here there is some Tech 1 flak here, but Tech 2 gunships very good. So now we are seeing that air very much rules this game, and that's what Cerberus, or this map, that's what Cerberus is using. Massive Tech 1 air force, so it'll be very difficult for BlackDeath. It's a very interesting engineer here. Just got in, got a radar, needs to get a point defense. No point defense here, but 2 engineers. And this is pretty tragic. You do not want to lose your gunships like that. 4 gunships just thrown away here. That was completely unnecessary. Still no navy for BlackDeath. And a good push here, very timely. This point defense would have been very nice for Cerberus, but it's not built. There is one here, but no engineers. Now you can see that Cerberus making his way to the top corner with the ACU. And here we see this air fight. Tech 2 gunships doing good raiding. And you can see a lot of build capacity on this Tech 2 factory, multiple Tech 1 air factories, making interceptors and a Tech 1 power spam. That's one big advantage for BlackDeath. Multiple Tech 2 power generators. Now going Tech 3 air, Tech 2 flags, just in case gunships decide to fly in here. Definitely don't want to do that. And Tech 2 flag, now Tech 2 land for BlackDeath. And as long as Cerberus avoids that Tech 2 flag, he's going to be in very good shape with these gunships. And of course he's got to avoid leaving his gunships unprotected against Tech 1 interceptors. And actually this land force makes it all the way to Cerberus base, but some gunships in position to do defense plus some tanks. Should just be a bunch of wrecks to reclaim for Cerberus eventually. This is a lot of flak. Of course, Cybran Tech 1 flak can be made to shoot at ground, but strikers will dominate against this flak. Manta here as well, and looks like numbers for BlackDeath. And this could be a mistake here for Cerberus, kind of running in one by one. Don't want to do that. It looks like successful defense here with the gunships, plenty of reclaim. Cerberus 26 kills makes it on land here. Some Tech 2 units, some hoplites, but Cerberus shouldn't be afraid of that. Gunships moving in. You gotta avoid that. That was a nice overcharge of the Tech 2 flag. These are now completely exposed. Another Tech 2 flag moving in. Cerberus needs to overcharge that as well. Otherwise, these gunships are gonna be a lot of trouble. They're actually gonna target the Tech 2 flag. More drops from BlackDeath. BlackDeath still no navy. There's a submarine here preventing naval construction. Good positioning on a Tech 1 subs in each corner from Cerberus. And if this this is a nice air fight, but total domination numbers for Cerberus. Cerberus should be able to claim this top position. A lot of reclaim for him. 29 kills in the ACU. Yet another land push here on the bottom, and a lot of Tech 1 flak. So the gunships can defend against this, but they're going to pay a big price. Tech 2 Navy cruisers coming out for Cerberus. We're seeing that Tech 2 point defense. And looks like this should be a successful defense. If this Tech 1 point defense gets finished, it'll be very close. It does not get finished. But in any case, this Tech 2 point defense, 9 kills, gets the job done. A lot of reclaim for Cerberus. Looking back at BlackDeath, a whole bunch of Tech 2 power generators and Tech 3 air with ASF. Now we're seeing ASF versus a whole bunch of Tech 1. Of course, with ASF now you can deny those Tech 2 gunships, and a lot of Tech 2 flak here as well. So Cerberus needs to change up his strategy here. He cannot rely on his Tech 2 gunships for the rest of his game. ASF and Tech 2 flak on the field. But of course his next plan is the cruiser. And the cruiser with the long range missiles very dominating on this map. You see the gunships have taken care of the middle. But as this ASF force gets bigger, oh, this is not good for Cerberus here. 39 kills, gets 40, very timely. And we saw the GG from BlackDeath expecting a win there, but very timely veterancy from Cerberus gets into the water. Of course, water is not very safe with the Tech 3 air. We are seeing torpedo bombers being created. Cerberus got to be very careful. Here, minute 20. We see a lot of interceptors here. And actually, if these interceptors fly away to try to protect these gunships, we're going to see this fight, ASF versus Tech 1 Air. But at the same time, this ACU is completely exposed against torpedo bombers. ASF's retreat, but there's also a cruiser here at 9 kills. This cruiser has got direct fire with the cannon here on the front. It's got the cruisers, got the anti-air, got TMD, got all the different weapons, except torpedoes, of course. How we saw that victory. A very important victory. Cerberus, 44 kills, needs to get out of the water, but this Tech 1, Tech 2 force rolling through, a lot of flak here. Cannot counter that with gunships. Seeing yet another cruiser. Still no Tech 2 power from Cerberus. That's really the huge difference in this game. And eventually this Tech 3 air should make itself known. But actually a destroyer here. I did not notice this destroyer. But on top, this is very important force here from BlackDeath. See what happens with it. There is a Tech 2 point defense here, but you probably want a little more. And once again, the gunships get massacred, but numbers of Tech 1 versus Tech 3. It looks like Tech 3 just can't handle it. And Tech 2 Navy dominating on the bottom. Torpedo bombers a little late. We got to say it could have been very bad for Cerberus. Cerberus sitting here in the corner. This position is actually pretty good, especially against Aeon. It's very difficult to hit with torpedo bombers, but I'm pretty sure UEF could hit that ACU. And he definitely does not want to go on land. Some tanks making it to the bottom. winning their battle against the Manta, but they should die eventually. See these cruisers, 23 kills on one. Here's this force. Tech 1, Tech 2, torpedo bombers. Not really sure why Cerberus making torpedo bombers. Actually, it's going to be minor damage, not too much damage. A couple Tech 1 mask extractors lost. Not much more than that. Cerberus making it out of the water, showing his position. That's very dangerous to do. We are seeing the torpedo bombers now coming in, but a cruiser, very timely cruisers, very good position. They're going to give cover to this ACU. All 3 Tech 2 ships. Yet another destroyer now coming out. And now we are seeing this is the counter to UEF Navy, Tech 2 stealth submarine from Cybran. We got that's probably why we've seen torpedo bombers from Cerberus anticipating those submarines. ACU for BlackDeath, 5 kills, thinking about the middle perhaps, but very dangerous for him to be in the water. And you gotta say this Tech 1 Air Force is still pretty large, but getting a little smaller against this ASF force. 33 kills, 8 for the other. I've seen BlackDeath getting hit by torpedo bombers. These ASF should put an end. 2 Tech 2 submarines. We should see torpedo boats come out here, but it's still cruisers, so that could be a big mistake for Cerberus. As the submarine force gets bigger, and a destroyer now coming out for BlackDeath, and a destroyer plus 2 subs will take on this Tech 2 UEF force unless we see some shields or torpedo boats in the near future. Air, of course, can shift that battle in either direction. And it looks like Tech 1 plus cruisers, and this is going to be bad. 2 destroyers versus 2 submarines. And so far we're seeing just how good Cybran is versus UEF underwater. One of the destroyers gets killed, no damage whatsoever on those subs with the torpedo defense, and these cruisers completely exposed. Actually, Tech 2 bombers coming in out against this cruiser. A mistake there, separating the destroyers and the cruisers, and now destroyer for BlackDeath coming out, using the range against the UEF destroyer. 2 Tech 2 ships lost there, and now actually torpedo bombers protecting the cruisers. So air looks like it will save the Tech 2 Navy. And Tech 2 bombers, of course, will be massacred by the cruisers. Yet another submarine coming down. This one's nearly dead, but of course this cruiser's got to run. This is all cruisers. And there goes that sub. Still very even map control. We see a lot of dead units all over the place. Tech 1 land still pushing up the left side. And now more gunships. No flag here with these units, so the gunship should be very effective. More build capacity, some hives now. Tech 1 drop. Had a lot of build capacity on this Navy. Perhaps a Tech 1 land fight. This is Tech 2. So these hoplites should be able to win this battle and push down or push through the top. ASF, this is 6 kill gunships, gets hammered. These cruisers here, a lot of kills, but we're seeing this destroyer. In close range, the UEF destroyer is better. BlackDeath playing a very dangerous game there. Of course, the hoplites dominating. That engineer is going to die. So both the sides look like they should belong to BlackDeath eventually. And this destroyer, this is a mistake. This cruiser should not be facing a destroyer here all alone like that. But it is. But perhaps this UEF destroyer can make up for it. You can see in close range a lot more firepower for the UEF destroyer. And BlackDeath, so I gotta figure out, why did he just give up there at minute 31? It wasn't obvious to me that he lost. I'm a little surprised here at minute 31. He did have a Navy going. He had pretty good air, Tech 3 power, but perhaps this Navy was just a little too daunting. Plus torpedo boats. Well, I guess you could see why he had his ACU in the water with a whole bunch of ships, Tech 2 Navy coming in. That was about to kill him. Really, the only chance for him would have been some gunships or torpedo boats or torpedo bombers to take out a whole bunch of these ships. But he decided not to even try. That's a little unfortunate, but hopefully people enjoyed this one.